Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Alternate Point of View. My name is Tracy Lee, and I hope you will all like, subscribe, and share. Today is a fun video because I want to talk about my new political crush, which is Stephen Miller. Holy moly, I really like this guy because guess what? Civics is cool. You guys, I just like Stephen Miller because everything he talks about, everything he says is awesome because well, guess what? Like I said, civics is cool, you guys. It's I think it's a lost art. Because school rules, right? I don't think we have ever gotten educated like we are getting by Stephen Miller these days. So I just love it that America is so much more concerned about gang members and criminals than we are about Americans. And this has a lot to do with this channel because we talk so much about the court system and the rights of Americans, our justice system, how unfair it is, and about everything that is wrong with our justice system and how people in our system are being wrongfully accused and wrongfully imprisoned, and people who are not getting justice here in America. And right now, I am investigating a murder of a woman, Samantha Woll, in Michigan, who is not getting justice because the very politicians that are supposed to be looking for her killer, because it was a very good friend of theirs, like Dana Nessel and Alyssa Slockton, who are very good friends with Samantha Woll, are not looking for her killer. These are very powerful political figures in the Democrat Party. I just want to point that out. But these Democrats are fighting for criminals, illegal aliens who don't belong in America. Okay? They're fighting for their rights. And it's shocking to me that Democrats are fighting for people who don't deserve the right to be here. And people are willing to keep those people on our soul and are willing to continuously pay for those people. When we have people like Michael Jackson Bolanos, who is wrongfully charged and was taken to trial for a crime he did not commit and is now sitting in prison on a 15-year sentence for lying to the police. Now, make that make sense, you guys. Make it make sense. I'm just trying to understand, how is it that our media is covering and fighting for rights, and I use that term quite loosely, for people who are criminals? They assault and hurt people for a living, and our media is fighting for them. When we have people like Stephen Miller, who's out here educating the ever living pants off of these people, and they're still denying our Constitution, denying everything that he's laying down for them, but they ain't picking it up, y'all. So I have to share because this makes all the sense in the world to me, because clearly common sense is not common to the rest of the world. But I have to share Stephen Miller educating the ever living pants off of this host of CNN so that you can all see for yourself when it's happening. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. I just got to say, I love it, because this goes to show you exactly what's happening in our justice system and what's happening in America today, and why in the world I just love the crap out of Stephen Miller.
Is here with me now. Stephen, thanks very much for being in the arena.
Glad to. Thank you.
So you called the judge's order just earlier today, quote, patently unlawful, end quote, and said that it was an assault on democracy itself. Does that mean that the administration is ignoring this order, and might you ignore future court orders that meet the criteria you laid out?
The President of the United States and his administration reserve all rights under the Constitution to conduct national security operations in defense of the United States. The Alien Enemies Act, which was passed into law by the founding generation of this country, men like John Adams, was written explicitly to give the president the authority to repel an alien invasion of the United States. That is not something that a district court judge has any authority whatsoever to interfere with, to enjoin, to restrict, or to restrain any way. You can read the law yourself. There's not one clause in that law that makes it subject to judicial review, let alone district court review.
So, Stephen, when you say that this person has no authority at all, this is how our system works. It starts with these judges and then continues up. At what point does it become, in your view, legal for the justice system to be looking at this and making a judgment? And I fail to see how there's any other way but to start with where we're starting here before you get to eventually the Supreme Court.
Well, so first of all, there's a term in law, justiciable. This is not justiciable. In other words, this is not subject to judicial remedy. When the president is exercising his Article 2 powers to defend the country against an invasion or to repel a foreign terrorist that is unlawfully in the country, he's exercising his core Article 2 powers as commander-in-chief.
Is Venezuela invading the U.S.?
This is a very important point. This is a Title 50 authority. It's a commander-in-chief authority. So just to ask you a simple question, you talk about how the system works. Does a district court judge have the right to direct or enjoin troop movements overseas? Yes or no?
Well, Stephen, my question, if you could answer my question first,
in other words,
is Venezuela invading our country in a way that would
TDA, so I'll answer yours and you'll answer mine. Under the terms of the statute, Tren de Aragua is an alien enemy force that has come here as detailed at length in the proclamation at the direction of the Venezuelan government. The statute says that a president has the ability to repel an invasion or predatory incursion that is directed by a foreign
state
government.
or a government, right? Are they a state or a government?
This would be, yes, it is documented. The TDA was sent by the Venezuelan government in the proclamation. And here's an even more important point. Under the Constitution, who makes that determination? A district court judge elected by no one, or the commander-in-chief of the Army and Navy? The president and the president alone makes a decision of what triggers that determination.
So do you then think we are actually at war with Venezuela, the nation state of Venezuela?
You're not hearing me and you're not understanding me. Read the statute, Alien Enemies Act, 1798. It says if a predatory incursion is perpetrated by a foreign government, so it lists three qualifying actions. It could be an act of war.
It does say in the very beginning there has to be a declared war against a nation or a state. That's what it says.
No, wrong. Look up the statute. It's on my account on social media.
That's actually where we found it earlier.
Yes, it says or a predatory incursion or an invasion. The statute delineates three criteria for triggering the Alien Enemies Act. One is an act of war, which, by the way, an invasion is an act of war, but put that aside. One is an invasion, which this is. One is a predatory incursion, which this is. So it actually meets all three statutory criteria. But with respect to this particular statute, the proclamation is utilizing the incursion and invasion language in the statute. But this is a very important question because no, hold on. It's a very important question. You said the way our system works is the president of the United States commands the armed forces of the country, commands the foreign policy of the country, and that's subject to district court review. That is fundamentally untrue.
I never said that, Stephen. I did not say
that has never been true.
This was not a military operation.
A district court judge can no more enjoin the expulsion of foreign terrorists to foreign soil that he can direct the movement of Air Force One, that he can direct the movement of an aircraft carrier, that he can direct Marco Rubio to engage in diplomacy in a country or not.
Do you think the Supreme Court has any say over this or not? Does the Supreme Court of the United States have any say over the things that you were just outlining right here?
I believe what the Supreme Court will say is what I just said, which is that the president's conduct here is not subject to judicial review.
Okay, but you are acknowledging that they do in fact have a say here, even though you think they may agree with you.
What we are expecting is the Supreme Court to say what has always been the case, which is when the president is using his powers as commander-in-chief, those determinations are not subject to judicial review. In other words, the president's designation of Tren de Aragua as a foreign terrorist organization and as an alien enemy are part of his inherent plenary authority. There is no way.
At what point in the system, Stephen,
how are you going to expel?
Power?
How are you going to expel illegal alien invaders from our country who are raping little girls, who are murdering little girls, if each and every deportation has to be adjudicated in a district court judge. And that means you have no country, it means you have no sovereignty, it means you have no future. It is fundamentally incompatible to have a country and have individual expulsions adjudicated by a single district court judge.
I'm just trying to figure out at what point in the system do you, because what does the Trump administration believe? Because we do have separation of powers in this country. I hear what you're saying.
Yes,
you're saying
separation
the district
of powers.
court does not
this is the judiciary
have authority.
interfering
Stephen,
in
let me finish.
the executive function.
Let me
That
finish.
is the separation of powers. That is the separation of powers.
Did you ignore the judge's order here because you thought you could?
So the judge's order and the actions taken by the Departments of Defense, Justice, and Homeland Security are not in conflict. And the Department of Justice has been clear that they are not in conflict. But
so you think that you did go along with the order that the judge put out? You do not think that the Trump administration defied this order?
As the Justice Department said, there is no conflict between the judge's order and the actions taken by the departments I just listed. But I'm making a deeper and more fundamental point.
Yeah.
The district
court
you
don't have to follow it. Why didn't you?
The district court has no ability to in any way restrain the president's authorities under the Alien Enemies Act or his ability to conduct the foreign affairs of the United States. Let me paint a picture for you. President Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio had engaged in intensive diplomacy to obtain a bilateral security agreement with the nation of El Salvador. If a district court judge can join that bilateral security agreement, then we do not have a democracy.
Stephen, you've made your argument.
We do not have a foreign policy.
We've heard you say this. Did you ignore that? Did the administration ignore the order from the district judge? It's a simple question.
I've answered it. I've answered it because the Department of Justice has made a filing in the court. But let me make another point. The judge, in this case, put the lives of every single person on those aircraft at risk. Did he know how much fuel was in those planes? Did he know the flight conditions? Did he know the weather conditions? Did he know how many crew hours? Did he know the need for crew rest? Did he know any of that? No. This judge violated the law. He violated the Constitution. He defied the system of government that we have in this country.
Because that does seem to be what you're arguing.
These same district court judges didn't do a damn thing to stop Joe Biden from flooding this nation with millions of illegal aliens. Do these district court judges didn't issue any injunctions to save the lives of Jocelyn Nungary or Laken Riley or anyone
the federal
else?
Courts? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that what you said, there's a separation of powers. The judiciary exercises judgment and relief.
I don't speak for the White House. You are here to speak.
I will do.
You're here to speak for the White House. I just want you to answer that
it.
one simple question.
I am. Ready? Here we go. Under a proper reading of the Constitution, district court judges provide relief to individual plaintiffs seeking relief. District court judges do not have the authority, as a general matter, to enjoin the functioning of the executive branch. But their authority is at its lowest point when the president is exercising his powers as commander-in-chief. And I asked you a question, you never answered it. Can a judge enjoin troop movements overseas? Can a district court judge enjoin troop movements overseas?
Stephen,
yes or no?
I am not going to get into the
just say no, and then you'll know that I'm right.
This is a
just
separate
say no,
question,
and you'll know that
Stephen.
I'm right.
Okay, we're not talking about other troops
the
overseas.
president.
I need to ask you about something else.
The president issued a proclamation delineating in detail how the Venezuelan regime sent this gang, this terrorist organization, to our shores. And by the way, and I love being here, but all the outrage that we are seeing from the Democrat Party and from the corporate media, none of that outrage was expressed when little Jocelyn Nungary was tortured and beaten to death. None of that outrage was expressed when our nation was flooded by illegal aliens.
I have just been simply trying to get a simple answer to a simple question. No outrage necessary about whether or not the White House is ahead of the courts.
I am.
But I need to ask you one more question. I'm going to have to let you go.
Democrats defending Trinidad instead of celebrating President Trump expelling these terrorists from our midst. And I'm glad for the opportunity to explain how the separation of powers does work. If the president has to litigate every national security action with 700 district court judges, then we don't have a functioning democracy.
Let me ask you one other question about the president's power today. It's on a slightly different topic, but we saw President Trump's comments about the use of the auto pen, the pardons that President Biden signed. And I just want to know from you, Has President Trump ever used an auto pen to sign official documents, either in his first term or since he took office a second time?
Well, I've seen President Trump hand sign every executive order my whole time, and every part.
Have you ever seen him use an auto pen?
For him. But President Trump signs every single critical government function document. But here's the more important point about that, even more important. The more important point is that President Trump personally directs every single federal government policy.
Right, but has he ever signed anything with an auto pen?
To my knowledge, every single executive order, every single proclamation, every single major government action, every single thing that affects the lives, safety, and livelihoods of the American people that comes out of the executive office of the president, he has signed. But more importantly, he has directed,
signed without
he has briefed, he has been involved in. And this is the most important point. It's not just that Joe Biden used the auto pen. It's that he didn't know it. He was not briefed on it. He was not aware of it. He did not approve it. He was not mentally aware of what the government was doing.
If we're talking about the legality of something signed with an auto pen or not, I'm just trying to figure out if there's anything President Trump signed.
The key point is that you're missing
Stephen,
it.
I'm so sorry we're running out of time here. I do appreciate how much time you have spent with me,
Biden didn't know what was being signed in his name.
All right,
that's the key
I understand.
Wow. Well, that was that. I tell you what, you guys, I'm just saying, with our justice system the way it is, again, I'm going to point this out. The fact that we have cases going unsolved here, the fact that we have judges putting people in prison for 15 years for lying to the police, the fact that we have the Menendez brothers that they're considering letting out of prison for blatantly, brutally shooting their parents in a most god-awful way, and people are actually praising this. We have judges that are out there that are trying to stop our commander-in-chief, our president, from getting rid of people that are destroying our country. And we have these media people out there that are actually defending a president that used an auto pen. And never mind the auto pen. No one cares about that. As Stephen Miller even just said, like, no one cares about the damn auto pen. What we care about is, did he even know what the hell he was signing? And look at her face. Her face is absolutely hideous. All of her expressions are disgusting because you can tell she absolutely defends that side. That she actually believes what she's thinking and saying. Like, literally, she believes that they're right. It's so flippin' annoying. It's disgusting. It's disgusting that the hate they have for this one person supersedes the love they could possibly have for America and the seek for justice. It just makes me sick that people like Michael are sitting and just basically literally losing his entire future and his entire life. And Samantha is not getting justice by her very own friends who are sitting in these political seats. Because they have the power to do it. They have the power and the money and everything to take care of this murder, to solve her murder, to get Michael out of prison where he does not deserve to be. And Jeffrey Herbstman, who confessed to the murder, he got immunity. And we have people like Stephen Miller who are having to basically teach, because these people were never taught in the first place. I was going to say reteach, but clearly they were never taught civics in the first place. So yay, Stephen Miller. Go Stephen Miller for these interviews that he's doing, because holy crap, I am Miller 2028 all the way. Let's go Miller, and let's go United States of America if we can get our justice system right. Okay, let's fix it. Let's get it right, and let's get Michael out of prison, and let's tell people that he did not get parole. Let's talk about it. Let's get it on the subject. But this is a topic, you guys. This is sad that our justice system is so jacked that we care more about people who don't belong here and less about people who are in the wrong place where they shouldn't be for stupid charges that make no sense. So again, let's get Michael Jackson Bolanos. Let's get his name out there, and let's solve Samantha's murder. I appreciate you guys. We'll see you in the next video.